You're listening to Heart with Saima, the podcast show for people searching for that courageous person within us who wants to be inspired by listening to stories of ordinary people doing extraordinary things. I'm Saima Dillon, your host. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to be here. Let's dive right in. My guest today is Jen Russman. She's a fully empowered woman, wife, mom, intuitive guide, and energy healer for women and children. After years as a hostage to addiction and then a failing body and much more, Jen decided to heal and be free. With more than 25 years of healing and coaching experience, Jen leads with her empathic gifts and intuition to guide you home to your divine power within. Her practice includes emotional energy healing, bioenergetic frequency healing, mental wellness care, and divinity led coaching. Before I bring Jen on, there is something that I wanted to request. I do believe in the power of connection. I believe in the power of positive energy. I believe in the power of prayer. I do believe in putting good out there into the world so that good can radiate all over and it can come back to you. And on that note, I would like everyone to just take a few seconds and to say a prayer for this young girl who is fighting for her life in Frisco, Texas. And please send out a a prayer for her healing and for her recovery. And without further ado, let me bring Jan on. Jan, welcome to Heart with Saima. I'm so happy to have you here.
I am thrilled to be here. You, Saima, are such a beautiful being of light.
Thank
and
you.
I'm so grateful that we connected. And I'm looking forward to what's going to come of our relationship moving forward, because you truly, truly are a beautiful light in this world.
Thank you. Thank you. Jen, I believe in the power of energy. I believe in the fact that when energies and prayers and when it's all put together and you put it out into the universe, it just becomes so much more powerful. As an individual, we're just one. But I think when you start connecting the dots and connecting people to those dots, and you start creating this this group of powerful energy, you're able to do so much more for the betterment of this world. Because at the end of the day, I think our lives, it's just a journey of healing.
Mm. Nailed it. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more with you. That's what my life has been a long journey of healing. And it's been dark, it's been painful, but it's also been light and life-giving and transcending. And like you said, I mean, to sum it up, like energy has no boundaries. So the energy that we put out can expand and become very expansive. And the more of us that are doing it, the collective, like you just talked about, so much power in that. So much power in that. So it's really important for each one of us to really understand the energy that we are embodying. How are we showing up for ourselves energetically, and how are we showing up for others and the people in our sphere of influence, starting with ourselves and our families, right? And then the people that we interact with. And there's that ripple effect that's energetic that goes out in an expansive way into the world.
So when you ask up the dots all over,
absolutely, right? And the ripple, and it just keeps going and going and growing and growing and growing. And that's how we're able to, because you know what? We're all one. We're all one anyways. So we're all connected, whether, we realize it or not.
And I always say this on my show, Jen, that, that people are out there fighting over religion, fighting over politics, fighting over all these different things. And people don't realize that everyone is part of the same creation, everyone is part of the same ecosystem. And, you know, the colors are different, there are variations. But that's what makes this world such a beautiful place, is just this it's a kaleidoscope of different people, and 7+ billion population, and every individual is different in this world. How amazing is that? And I think that's
Incredible.
wonderful.
I love that you use the word kaleidoscope because I use that word a lot. Like I love the word faceted, and kaleidoscope, because
Yeah,
all of us are like a beautiful faceted kaleidoscope, right? And
yeah,
when we all come together, we create that gorgeous, vibrant, multi-dimensional, rainbow of experience when you look through that
absolutely.
kaleidoscope. And it's interesting because like I just am coming off of a beautiful retreat. I was on retreat all weekend. It was virtual, but with wonderful, wonderful light leaders. And one thing that came through for me, day one was really all the meditations and visualizations was really for the collective, like you're talking about. And the message that came through for me around the collective and the questions he asked was like what was coming through for me going into 2021. And the words that I kept hearing was for the collective, the human race, humanity is that was the question about humanity for 2021. And the phrase I kept hearing was a return to love.
Yeah, I think that's what, amongst other things, and people losing their loved ones, and yes, if you besides that, I think one thing that has definitely come out is people being forced inside their houses, no running away. You're right there. You have no choice but to build bonds and to heal with others who are around you, your family members. And I can't speak for anyone else, but speaking for myself, my kids tell me that, Mom, you just tend to not face things, and you tend to just maybe avoid or run away from certain things. And I think that's what COVID has also done, is just made me just stay put, and take a deep breath and just
Yeah.
try to find
It's
those
slowed
solutions.
it's slowed things down. It's slowed us down. It's stopped us in our tracks and it slowed us down. And I mean, that's very, very symbolic of what happened to me at 29 years old when I became sick overnight and was diagnosed with MS. I was running, 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 running. I was go, 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 do, and part of that was an avoidance behavior. And and I got stopped in my tracks and I got slowed down. And it was an opportunity, just like this has been an opportunity if we're open to choosing it to be an opportunity.
And life is all about perception, because
It is.
we're all hit hard, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And we can change any experience we're having in any given moment. We can change with the shift of our perception. We have so much power in our perception, right? So if we're not feeling what's going on, it doesn't feel good, like we're not happy about it, let's go to our perception. Just change your perception of it. You're changing your perception changes everything,
How do you
one way or the
change your
other.
perception, Jen?
How? I think it takes practice and self-awareness and I think like what's coming through for me is, and I talk about this a lot in my practice, is there's so much power in the pause. So I'll speak to the pause to answer your question. We're so busy, go, go, go. And like, we don't stop to take a breath, step back, and create a little bit of space, this pause, if you will, to just see the bigger picture, to take a few breaths and get curious about what's going on. So power in the pause and start getting curious about what's going on for you, what's going on around you, and get curious about it. And those are two two tools that are very, very effective in changing our perception is to one, embrace the power in the pause, step back and take a moment to create the space, and then get curious and start asking questions about what's going on. And well, how is, instead of this happening to me, how could this be happening for me? That's just one example of a question we can ask ourselves with anything, because I mean, I won an Oscar playing the victim in my life many, many years ago, and I did it for years. And, it's really about shifting, away from that mindset to a mindset of being a powerful creator in our lives and saying, okay, well, instead of seeing everything as like this, why me? Why is this happening to me? Power in the pause, step back, and look at the domino effect and go back a few steps and say, okay, take a few breaths, exhale, and ask myself, like, okay, instead of seeing this as, oh, this is happening to me as a victim, how is this happening for me? Where is the gift in this? And it's amazing what will come through for us when we take the time to embrace the power in the pause.
Jen, I went through this phase where there was just I felt I was in the eye of the storm, and I was right there, and I felt that when it's like you said, it's a domino effect. So when one thing goes wrong and you start turning so negative, and you're like, oh my God, and you don't even realize that's something you think it can't get worse, but then it does get worse, and then it gets more worse, and you're surrounded and by multiple things just going wrong all around you. How do you bring a shift in your energy so that you can change what you are attracting?
What's coming through on that is, I heard you when we using the word domino. I think too often we forget that the main domino in anything that we're experiencing is ourselves. I am a domino in the domino effect of whatever's happening in my life. I am the first domino. I am the domino, right? And so really understanding and seeing that, I hold the power within me to shift my energy and my experience and how I feel and see things by going inward. Stop looking at the external and pointing the finger and focusing on all the things that we think are going wrong, and start really shifting. Like we live by labels, we live by these labels that this is good or this is bad, this is right, this is wrong, this is black, this is white, right?
Who defined those?
Right. Well, we get to define it. Like, we're
Right.
conditioned. So a lot of the work that I do is about unlayering and removing the conditioning that we're all conditioned throughout our lives. From the moment we're born, we're conditioned. These conditions are things that we're taught and told. And it's really about learning to question everything that we've been told, and question it and continue to question it and continue to get curious and be curious and go inward, because the answers are inside of each of us. Everything that we need to heal, everything that we need to be successful, everything that we need to be happy and feel whole is inside of us already.
We're a complete package.
We are, because we are the light. We are the light having a human experience. So it's all about remembering who we are, aka the divine power within us, and going inward and going home to that place and reconnecting to that powerful source within us that
Is that
ultimately
spirituality?
is us. Yeah. I mean, that's my spirituality, my experience of spirituality. This is what it's been for me, and it works. And this is how ultimately I've been able to overcome and heal and live by resilience. It's like I fall down 7, I get up 8. And because I'm connected to that power within me. And it's not like, I'm not like, oh, I'm powerful. It's not what it's about. It's not about the ego. It's not about thinking, oh, it's me. Like, no, I'm the domino, but I have this light. If you just want to vision this light inside of you, there's a light and it wants to shine. And we can tap into that at any given time. But if we're so busy pointing fingers and focusing on ABC that's happening, and then then the spiral, like we go into this mental spiral, right? And where we think we're powerless. And then it gets to like, oh, life sucks. And look how bad things are. Look, see. And then, we convince ourselves all over again of the story, right? Like living in the story. It's really about unlayering the conditioning and stepping outside of the old story and rewriting a new one.
Chen, I frequently see on social media where people are, and I literally saw this on my women empowerment group recently, where I had posted something, and people were commenting that, um, the world is such a, there are all kinds of people, the negative people who don't do who are not there for you, who are not who judge you, who my thing is, I don't focus on anyone else. This is my, I have visors here, and this is my focus. And I'm not interested in what XYZ has to say about me, who wants to judge me. I want to just keep my focus here and just keep moving forward, because all these are distractions, and all this is also in our head. How do you change your mindset where you say that, hey, all these thoughts are thoughts which are within me, within my head, and these thoughts don't matter, because we don't really know what other people are thinking, and even if they are thinking whatever they are thinking, that's their problem and their
Right.
perception based on their experience.
Right. And it's the syndrome of the all and mighty mind reader syndrome, right? Where we think we're reading other people's minds. And that's something that really, really kept me stuck for a long time in my life and in business and going online is, fear of what other people think, like being judged, right? And so I can totally that resonates with me and I can relate to that. And I think for the whole mindset piece, so everybody, including myself, it's mindset, it's mindset, it's mindset. It is mindset, okay? But I want to challenge people. Like there's mindset, but like mindset work is almost can be like a part-time, if not a full-time job. Like we got to wake up every day and do all these little things just to get our mind right. And then, when our mind slips, we got to do these things again to get it right again, right? And it's like we're on this like roller coaster with our mindset. And what I have found is there is a piece that if we address this piece prior to a lot of the mindset work, or we include it with the mindset work, the mindset falls into place so much easier and we can relax more into it. And it's not so much a job as it becomes just a way of being. And that's energy. Energy, I have found has been the missing link for me and so many people that I work with when it comes to healing mind, body, and soul. And so when we're spending so much time upstairs on the hamster wheel, and the fireworks are going off and all these little crazy thoughts and ideas, and, we're spiraling in the mental spiral, it's, I always envision like, okay, it's time for me to open the door, climb down the stairs and come back into my body. Like it's all, it really comes down to embodiment and coming home into our body, because that's where our power and the energy lies, and our power to shift energies that are happening inside of us, because our thoughts are energy. Every single thought we have is its own energy. Every emotion we feel is an energy. Every intention we set is an energy. Every decision we make is an energy. Everything is energy. And we feel all of this in our bodies. We're not always connected to it though, because we're so busy up here. So I have found a lot of the relief for the mindset piece has come through the energy work and the energy healing.
What is energy healing? Because I know that you have gone through addiction. You've gone through where you were 29 and overnight your life changed and you were diagnosed with MS, and which will you tell the people who are watching what MS is and how it impacted your life?
I mean, I could sit here and tell everybody what they say MS is. I have a whole different take on it. Um, but it's what they call an autoimmune disease where the immune system attacks the body, and it specifically attacks the central nervous system, which is your brain and your spine. And it wreaks havoc and causes serious disabilities. And so for me, I lived a good almost 7 years sick, disabled, and homebound about 80% of the time, 75, 80% of the time. And I was existing in a body that didn't work anymore. It was failing very quickly. And so again, this goes back to conditioning. I did it the medical Western medicine way for almost 7 years. And I was getting sicker and sicker and sicker. And one day I woke up at 36 years old and I had what I really truly believe is a divine intervention. And I call this divine intervention the power of decision. I felt something. This was my first experience with energy. I felt something move into me, inside of me, and shift in something in me that said, I'm not going to live sick anymore. I'm going to get well. I had no clue how I was going to do it. It was like this new truth just moved, planted inside of me, sprouted, bloomed, and it was there. And so I made the decision that day that I was not going to live sick anymore. And then the universe guided me from there. I didn't know I didn't know what I was doing. The internet didn't exist the way that it does today. I couldn't find one book in the library or the bookstore or anything. I just wanted one story of hope of somebody who overcame and healed from MS, and I couldn't find it. And so my mentor at the time was the divine. I was divinely led on my healing journey. And I want to say, I was 29 years old, and it just at the time it just seemed like, well, I woke up one day and my body just went freaking haywire on me, right? And what I've come to know from my own experience and my own beliefs because of my journey is that that's not what happened. What happened was I lived years of trauma in my childhood and years of suppression of the trauma in my body. And trauma, like sexual trauma and different traumas, they get stored cellularly and energetically in the body. So I was carrying that in my body all those years. I was living in suppression, emotional suppression, secrets, right? Then I found alcohol and the addiction took over, and that was a whole nother level of suppression. So by the time I was 29 years old, my body had been carrying all of that trauma and suppression and self-harm, injurious harm through my behaviors and my addiction for I'll start at age 3, so 26 years. And so at 29 years old, when I woke up sick, that was my body's cry for help. Was, hello, something is seriously wrong here. I need your attention. Help me. And it took me 7 years before I had that divine intervention where I began my divine healing journey of
So I
coming home.
think, I mean, Jen, I'm so glad. I know you were scheduled for end of January,
Yeah.
and then this opening came up today, and you came on the show because when we were having our conversation, and uh, and this what you just said, it was such a stark realization that hit me that we are a product of these this amalgamation of these little experiences that happen in our life, visual, physical, people who are sexually abused, or 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 whatever trauma they might suffer as a child growing up. You start keeping all these things within you, and you become this byproduct of all these experiences which are just hidden in you, and they
Yes.
start manifesting itself in
There's
in
They're
different ways.
stored as long as the body can store them. And then when the body is like overloaded to the point where it can't carry the weight of it anymore.
You
So for
start falling
me,
apart.
right. And so for me, I truly believe that trauma plus suppression, years of trauma and suppression equal chronic illness, equal dis-ease in the body. And the more women I've worked with over the years and talked to and sponsor and recovery and work within my coaching practice and in my healing practice, so many women with chronic illness, especially the mystery chronic illnesses they call autoimmune, have trauma in their background. So many of us. And so I feel that I'm here, like, none of this is about me. I was brought home to this again on the retreat this weekend, that, my sobriety was never about me. Healing trauma has never been about me. Healing the chronic illness has never been about me. I am a channel. Like, I am here to bring the message over and over and over and over again. And if I have to hammer it home a million times, I will. Especially when it comes to trauma suppression and chronic illness. They are completely linked. And if you start addressing healing the trauma and opening up and healing energetically, like the suppression, shifting the energies to release those energetic attachments to the trauma and emotional releases through the energy healing work I do, you're lifting the weight that your body has been burdened with energetically. And then when you're dealing with the emotional piece and healing the trauma, you're also, and when you're letting it out, when you open the door for the suppression to seep out of your body and leave you, that's where you really that's where the cellular piece, the cellular relief comes into play. Because there's science behind this, and both energetic and the cellular piece is our memories they're stored. There's something called cellular memory, and it gets stored in our bodies. And they, how they say every 7 years we're a whole new set of cells, right? Well, when the parent cells die off and when they give birth to the baby cells and die off, whatever is stored in them, the memories, the trauma memories, get transferred into the new cells. So they keep getting transferred every generation until we do something about it. And it's mind-blowing to think about.
So tell us more about this. I mean, how did you start figuring these things out, that your MS had to do with all the trauma that was being stored and suppressed in your body? How did you start coming to this real? So it seems like you were praying and you were manifesting and you were putting it out there in the universe that this is you're looking for healing and you're looking to change your trajectory of life, and then these different doors started opening for you.
Yeah, it took a lot of years for me, and that's the other piece why I am coming out and talking about this and letting people know that there is a way to collapse time so you don't have to suffer in silence for decades like I did. And suffered in my healing journey. Like the very beginning of my divine healing journey was that day at 36 years old when I had that divine intervention. And I wasn't putting anything out. Like, that was a gift, because I was so low and so what's the word? I was so lost. I had lost myself. I'd given up hope. I had no hope. I had a 2-year-old I could barely take care of. I mean, it was horrible. And I was like, if you've ever felt like you've been so far in this hole, in this ditch, and you don't know how to get yourself out. It's like I had just been like scratching at the sides and just burying myself all those years. Right. And so that day, that was the beginning, and that was the gift. I was gifted that energetic shift. And then I continued to be gifted with hearing messages of what to do. And each time I listened to the voice that I heard, I got better.
Is that your intuition?
Yes. And everybody has it.
Yeah.
Everybody has it. And like you talked about earlier with, this whole pandemic and quarantine stopping us and slowing us down, when we're running high speed, and we're multitasking and we're eating while we're driving and we're on the phone, you know, when we're living this fast-paced drive-through lifestyle, where is the space for the intuition? Where is the space to be guided? There is none, because we're living in this like suffocating control mode all the time of trying to keep everything together and keep things in control. And it's like this autopilot. It's almost like the Matrix in a way, you know, like, and we don't even know it. Like I didn't know it. I didn't know it until the divine moved in and said, hello, I'm going to do something with you because you came into this lifetime with the sole purpose. And so I'm being used in a beautiful way. And
Jen, how
so,
would you define energy?
God, how do you define the undefinable? I mean, really, it's particles and subparticles and subparticles of subparticles. I mean, you know, our thoughts. I don't know. Are you familiar with Mike Dooley and Infinite Possibilities?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's a great book. If it's a great start to learn more about it. But like our thoughts become things, and like what we think about, like we our thoughts can become like actual matter, like something like
Yeah.
concrete that we can touch. So, you know, I mean, I don't know. I don't have a PhD after my name. I don't have doctor in front of my name. You know, I am an average woman on this planet and who has had an extraordinary experience and allowed myself imperfectly to be divinely led and to fall down 7, get up 8, and doing my best to share what I know from my own experience with loving intention
And
of
that's
helping,
what the show
serving
is
others.
about.
Yeah.
Ordinary people doing extraordinary things. So
Hmm.
you don't need to have
Yeah.
that PhD after your name.
Yeah. So I'm not going to even try to answer your question. It's because like I'm somebody who believes in this stuff and has somewhat of an understanding through my experiences. But then even when something happens and I have another like amazing experience, I'm still blown away. I'm like, is this really happening? Like
Yeah.
seriously, you know? But yeah, I mean, and now that I'm so embodied and grounded in my body and able to feel like where something is in my body energetically, I could feel the energy and like I can shift it and move it now and move it out of my body. And that's taken practice, and that's taken working with energy guides. So people that are interested in learning more about the energy work and the embodiment piece and learning how to shift and move energy, you know, I've I've partnered with and worked with amazing energy guides who have taught me how to do it for myself. And I've been able to go and I've been activated by them spiritually and energetically. And then I'm now able to go out and activate other people through the work that I do with them. Yeah.
Wow. So, I mean, you have. How do you? Let me rephrase that. How do you? How do you pinpoint if there's something wrong in the energy that needs to be either eradicated or it needs to be restructured, or you need to get rid of it because it's messing with your balance within you?
It's all about tuning into how it feels. And like you say, eradicate, like energy cannot be eradicated. We cannot hammer it down. We cannot, we can't kill it. Energy doesn't die. That's my experience and my belief. Energy does not die. We cannot kill it. We cannot eradicate it. The only thing that we can do is transmute it. It has the power to transmute, which ultimately means change, right? It changes. And one example is death, people transitioning. Their spirit is energy. It doesn't die. The body dies, but their spirit doesn't die, right? It transmutes. So it's that same idea dealing with what we're talking about. And so it's really all about the feeling. Like if I am in mental spiral, that's clear cut sign, right? That I need to return back into my body and breathing, connecting to my breath and getting curious and asking the questions that I need to ask with whatever's going on. Starting with like, okay, well, where am I feeling this in my body? Am I feeling it in my chest? Am I feeling it in my solar plexus, my heart chakra? Am I feeling it in my root chakra, my sacral chakra? Am I feeling it in my throat? Like, where am I feeling it? And it's like you said, it's all about the slowdown. It's about the power and the pause and connecting to what you feel inside. You can feel it. It's in your body, and your body will speak to you nothing but truth to you.
How do you do that? How do you speak to your body?
Have a conversation.
Like,
Just have
okay,
a conversation.
I,
Sit
I,
down, take a few breaths, be still, and listen for what's coming through, and start asking your body questions. What do you need from me right now? How are
introspection.
we? Yeah, like, how are we? How are you doing? Like, how are you doing? Ask your body, how are you? How are you doing? And then you just be still and you listen. And your body will tell you, you'll feel it. You may feel like a pressure in your chest, like, oh, I can't breathe, or something's waiting in my chest. Okay. Okay, well, I'm feeling this in my chest. So what is this about? Why are we feeling pressure? Why is my breathing tightening up? Like, what's going on? What do you need from me right now? What do you need to shift this? And then listen.
Because the answers lie within us
It's,
as well,
they're
right?
all inside of us. They're not outside of us. And take it from me, because, girlfriend, I have tried every which way but loose to find the answers outside of me. And, they're not there. They're not there.
They're within us.
They're within. And they're in the body. They're not up here. They're down. So if I'm going here to seek the answers, or going out here to seek the answers, I'm looking for love in all the wrong places, right? Like, it's really, the answers are in here.
Because that's the energy, right? That's the energy within us, and
right.
what
But see,
you
we have an energy body. We have an energy body, like, we're a physical body, but we have an energy body. So people always think, oh, we're this physical body, but I like to think, I'm an energy body with a physical body.
Isn't the energy body our soul?
Yeah, it's our aura.
Just a different word.
Yeah. So, to think of it that way, instead of saying, well, physical body, and I also have an energetic body. No, like, I am an energy body that's housed with this physical body. And we have to commune together. We have to learn to create emotional balance, physical balance, homeostasis, right? Get alkaline, with our body, and all of that together, in creating this, like, overall harmony. Like, the healing is what brings the harmony between the energy body and the physical body, right? And we can all live in this beautiful harmony. Yeah. I know it sounds so hokey, but
No, actually, I mean, I don't know, but to me, it doesn't, because
yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And sometimes I'm in awe that I get to wake up every day and live this way, and experience this, and teach other people, and help other women, release emotional blocks, clear those emotional blocks, and release energetic attachments to trauma, to set them free. And, I get to wake up every day and co-create these sacred rebirths with women who are living, they're silently suffering in their own suppression from the past,
even
and
current
possibly chronic
suppression, right?
illness.
I mean, even current suppression, because the unfortunate thing is that whatever energy is embedded in us from suppression, or childhood trauma, or upbringing,
Yeah.
it will not go away until
No.
you bring change and you
Correct.
make it go away. You will keep attracting, your energy will keep attracting
Mhm.
the same thing.
Yes. And it's like, there's two things. There's suppression, then there's impression. So we have all these impressions put on us, which are all of the painful things, and the traumas, and the different experiences that we have that change who we are. Like, we all come into this world pure and playful and hopeful and fun and, with no worries and no care, right? And then we start to grow and develop, and all these impressions are imprinted on us, right? And then we hold these secrets, and then there's the suppression, and we're told, no, you can't. I was always told I was too sensitive, and I was told I was too silly, and I was too this or too that. And like, even things like messages, like the messages are imprints, right? And this is the conditioning. And because of the conditioning and these imprints, that's where the suppression comes into play. Because then I started to, okay, I'm too sensitive, I'm too silly. I started to, shrink down, dull my shine. Little girl Jen was like, okay, well, something's wrong with me. It's not okay to be me. It's not safe to be visible, and it's not safe to be me. And that's sad, but it's happening every day.
How do you, for an ordinary person out there who's watching this, what should that first step be?
Reach out and ask for help. Tell somebody.
And I think
Tell somebody. Telling someone else, sharing our pain cuts it in half. When we're walking around with it and we're trying to deal with it all, because this is what I did. I was like, well, you know what? Nobody else is protecting me. I'm going to protect myself. And I did the best I could with what I had. And, I mean, my coping mechanisms like served me, but then they, eventually stopped serving me. And when they stop serving you, because the pain gets to a point where it's like, you don't even want to live anymore. But yeah, I mean, it's speak up. If there's somebody, like, if you're hearing me now and you resonate with me, reach out, like, tell somebody. It doesn't, even if it's not me, like, somebody there, there's somebody else who is maybe a few steps ahead of you, who's walked in your shoes. Like I've always said, and we've always said, like, nobody can help another alcoholic like another alcoholic. No counselor, no therapist, no person with, credentials before and after their name cannot help an alcoholic the way another alcoholic can.
Because they can feel the pain.
Exactly. Same. It's no different with trauma. It's no different with suppression. It's no different with chronic illness. It's no different than living with cancer. It's no, whatever it may be, nobody can understand and help with the healing like another person who's walking or has walked in your shoes. Maybe they're a few steps ahead or a few decades ahead of you, like me. And I am here to say that what I do is I help women collapse time so they don't have to live decades like I did in the struggle.
So you suffered for a very long time from an autoimmune disease, or I know you don't like to call it that, and
It's okay. Yeah, no, it's okay. Yeah.
Just so people can understand. And how did you? I know you started putting it out there that you are wanting to change, and then it's like wheels in motion, right? You're going in this direction, and then all of a sudden you're changing your manifestation and things start changing for you, right?
Yeah.
What how long was that journey? I mean, you told me that MS does not have a cure, and the way you cured yourself from it, it's in itself like a miracle.
Yeah. And, and it's definitely divine intervention, but, I have a different take. Like, I don't necessarily, I don't use the word cure. I use the word heal. I truly believe that the only thing that can heal imbalance and dis-ease in the body is the body. And the body is innately designed to be well and healthy. It's not designed to be sick. And so if we give our bodies what they need, they will give us what we want. Like, our body has the innate power and ability to heal if we give it what it needs. And so giving it what it needs does not mean, like, people would ask me all the time, well, what else did you do besides juice every day and drink 4 green drinks a day? Like, in my beginning of my journey, that's the first step I took. I started drinking. I bought a Jack LaLanne juicer off of an infomercial, and that saved my life. And it brought my body back to life. But people ask me all the time, well, what else did you do? What else did you do? And it's like, well, the mindset piece, huge. And then the energy didn't come till much later. So I struggled. struggled in the fight to come back. And I was really, it was the mindset and the attitude and the therapeutic nutrition, huge piece, therapeutic nutrition, mindset work, years of that. But like with the energy piece missing up until about a year and a half ago for me, I woke up at 50 years old going, what is wrong with me? I've done all the work. I've done the therapy. I've done the group therapy. I've done 12-step recovery. I've done tapping, like, I've done it all. Why am I still walking around with this deep weighted sadness inside of me? Why am I still, with the anxiety and the depression and the overwhelm and the thoughts? And that was, I didn't realize it at the time, but I was posing that question to the universe. And guess what? The universe answered and put energy workers on my path. And I started working with them. And I started to recognize, whoa, this is huge. This
We
was
are
the
the
missing link.
architects of our own life.
Yeah. And it was the missing link for me. And so I went through this whole process of clearing the trauma energy out of my body with the help of other energy workers and also with myself. I ultimately ended up finishing the process on my own, and becoming certified and trained and everything. And now I help other women do that. But like moving and shifting the energy out, the trauma energy that was still stored in my body. So I'll give you one example. And I worked with my energy guide, Val. I always say she's cosmically delicious. And she helped me in one of our last sessions together. I literally for 22 years lived with tremors and spasms in my legs. And so at night, and it was MS, it was labeled MS. And at night I'd get into bed, and after using my legs during the day, like I would want to relax, but then my legs would go haywire and it was so uncomfortable. I couldn't sleep. I mean, 22 years of this, restless leg syndrome, spasms that were painful. Like it was horrible. And I laid on my bed and we were over the phone, and she helped me discern, is this really MS in your legs, or is this something else? Is this you, or is this something else? I was like, this isn't me and this isn't MS. And it was trauma energy. And she helped me move it out of my legs. And this was back in the spring. After 22 years, I don't have the spasms and tremors at night anymore. My legs are still and at peace.
How did you fix that?
I worked with an energy guide who helped me move the energy out of my body through intention. Yeah.
Wow.
You can shift, move, and transmute energy through intention. It's actually pretty simple. We complicate it up here, but it's actually pretty simple. And the only requirement is to be willing to go through it. Like the only way out is through. It may not feel good all the time. There's going to be pain that's going to come up. And there's work I did with her that was really painful. The stuff that was coming up for me, really painful. It took me back there to the 2.5, 3-year-old, like really painful stuff. But I was able to stay with it and allow it to move through me. And once it was out, it's gone. And then doing my own clearing and releasing of the energetic attachments and the emotional releasing to those traumatic events has created what I call this beautiful sacred rebirth, where I've been reborn and my anxiety's gone, my depression, like overwhelm, like my mind is quieted down. And these are things that all of my clients experience. And they're just like, holy crap. Like it's amazing. It's amazing. I wish I discovered it sooner, but I discovered it when I was meant to discover it.
You've regained
So
your freedom.
whenever, and this is the thing that I want to press upon anybody out there, is when you find something so powerful that changes your life and works for you, share it. Don't keep it to yourself, because people need you. There's somebody out there at 3:00 in the morning tossing and turning because they can't figure out how to solve the problem that they're having. And guess what? You've discovered it. You've solved it. Like it's meant to be shared. Share your gifts, share your discoveries, share your truth. The more you share your truth, the more you release you're free of the suppression.
Because when you're your release is in giving. When you give, you're actually receiving trifold, and you don't realize
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah,
And you are the architect of your own
oh,
life.
I love
So,
that.
if you just slow down and just put it down exactly how you want to define your life, because as minutely as possible, because as you put it out there, that is exactly what is going to come back to you.
Absolutely. And you nailed it. We are each the architect of our own life. We get to draw and design and redraw and redesign. We don't
And
like the
that
drawing.
paintbrush is very valuable. When you hand over that paintbrush, or not the paintbrush, or the pen, or
Mhm. Yeah,
when you hand that over to someone else, and you give someone else the right to define your life and to start writing your story,
yeah,
that's where you are just so miserable.
yeah. You're giving your power away, you know?
And that's your magic wand right there. And you don't realize it
Absolutely.
that you hold it.
Absolutely. Yes. It's within. Why don't give that away? That's yours. That's your precious gift. It's who you are. It's a piece
Yeah.
of you. Why put that in the hands of somebody else
Yeah.
when you can work so much magic with
With
your
that
own
magic
wand?
wand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like Harry Potter and his wand.
Yes. Literally. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
I
love
think
that. I love that.
I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go online, and actually, my nieces are in Disney World right now. I'm going to
Oh,
delve, and they're in Harry Potter, in Universal Studios. I'm
oh,
going to tell
cool.
them to buy a wand for me and bring it
Yes,
back. And
yes,
I think visual, right? I'm going to
yes.
use that, like that is literally my
I
magic wand.
love that idea.
Use your energy and the power within
Yes.
your soul.
Or you can probably search on online and find like a nice sparkly one. I'm sure you could get
Yeah.
like a, you know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
love the idea of
Good.
getting like the inner, like for your inner child, like the
Yeah.
sparkly, like for the little girl in you, like getting your own little, magic wand. I might do that. I
Yeah.
want to do that. Let's do
Yeah.
that. Let's be wand partners. I love
Okay.
it.
Awesome.
Power partners with our wands.
Absolutely. I'm all for it. And if
Yeah,
anyone is watching, and if any one of you
love
wants
it.
to join us in being a want partner, just
Yes,
send me a private message, and we
yes,
will add you, and let's see how
yep.
we can use that wand to
Amazing.
change our world.
Yes. We're gonna be like, okay, the power in the paws.
Yes, literally.
Move the energy.
Yes,
Change
I
the thought.
love it.
Like I love
Because
that.
visual has
I'm
so much power, right?
Yeah,
I mean, you
absolutely.
start visualizing that, okay, you know, I'm using my wand to do
Yep.
this. And
And don't
that,
let anybody else use it. Do not give that wand to anybody
yes,
else. Nobody else is allowed to touch it. It's your wand.
yes.
It's your gift, your magic.
And I
And the
think on the
magic is
same,
for you.
absolutely. And I think on the same note,
Claim it.
parents need to realize, and everyone needs to realize that everyone has their own wand. And when you
Yeah.
take over your child's wand, you're
Yes.
changing, you're contributing to their suppression, and you're
Yes.
contributing to them holding so much within,
Yes.
because they are meant to hold their
Their
own
own.
wand.
Right. And that's probably one of the hardest parts of being a parent is I don't have a magic wand to make it all better for them. And it's not my place to. It's my place to love and support them as they learn how to use their own wand.
But most people don't realize this.
I know. I know.
I recently just met someone, who said that, as long as their child is going to live in their house, their child needs to abide by their rules. And this is a child who has not entered this world as yet. So I mean, I all I could
Good
tell
luck with
him
that.
was that, you don't even realize that when you are trying to take someone else's magic wand, and you're trying to, the, the the universe does not like anyone controlling anyone else, even if it's your child, because
Right.
they have their own destiny, and they're coming into this world to live their own life. And I think that right there is a very
Yeah.
hard lesson.
Yeah, and who are we to disrupt their, like, who are we to interject in their process? Like, it's our job to lead and guide them and provide the boundaries they need,
Yes.
and to redirect them when they need to be redirected, but to actually take their wand, no.
Yeah. And I
No.
think, Jen, right there, that has been the epiphany of this show, is that magic wand.
I love it. I'm gonna have to do something with that in my practice. I freaking love it. This is where, like, the power in numbers, like when you come together and you have a discussion and you
Yes.
talk and you open up, and like, this is where, like, ideas and the creativity and
Yes.
like, it's so cool. Like, what a great visual, like the
Yes.
whole magic wand, like that is your divine powers. Like, you have this magic wand inside of you.
Yes, you
Don't
do.
hand your power over to anybody. Take your power back.
And use
Hold
that
on to
wand
it.
to change the world.
Hold on to it and use it for yourself, because you can take that wand and use it to change your thoughts and change your emotions, change your perceptions. You can change anything and everything in any. I've always said you are one decision away from a brand new reality and a new life. One decision.
Wow.
So when you think about where you want to be, if you don't like where you are right now,
Yeah.
ask yourself, well, where do you want to be? And just know you are one decision away
Yeah.
from changing that.
Wow.
You just have to decide that, okay, just like I did, all right, I'm not going to live sick anymore. And you don't have to have everything all figured out. You don't have to have the answers and the how figured out. The how is the job of the universe. Your job is to decide. And that's where your wand comes into play.
Absolutely. And you will not believe this, but we are in the last 2 minutes
I know,
of
I
our
saw
show.
it, yeah.
And I'm going to give the screen over to you and give you a minute to just
Oh, geez. The pressure.
Yes, it's your pitch, what you do, where people can find you, what you would like my guest to do for you. So,
oh my goodness. Hello. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So Jen Russman, you can find me on LinkedIn or Facebook as Jen Russman with the purple hair. I also have a website called powerfulcreatorwithjen.com. My email is powertohealwithjen@gmail.com. And I also have an amazing community called the Laughter Connection TLC for women's humor, healing, and empowerment. So all women are invited to my private group. It's fabulous. And laughter is such a healing energy. So if you've never thought about laughter as a healing energy, please join us. And we would love to share that with you. So I specialize in working with women and children to release energetic attachments to trauma in the past through emotional releasing and sessions. And I also co-create what I call Sacred Rebirths, which is an 8-week program. So if it's something that you want to learn more about, feel free to reach out and we can schedule a 30-minute free energy consultation to see if it's a good match for us to work together and create your sacred rebirth.
Well, on that note, Jen, thank you. It was an honor having you on my show. And
I want to come on again. I love this. You have such a beautiful show here. The energy, like, I'm feeling it, girl. Like, you got something good here.
Awesome. Awesome. You know what? That's what you can give back to the world, right? What you give back, it ricochets back to you. So
absolutely,
it's very simple right there. Good people, good things, and leave your mark in this world.
Yeah. And please know that I will be setting some time aside to channel energy healing to your friend's daughter.
Thank you. Please.
And I don't say that lightly. I mean it when I say that.
Please. So and I've been asking everyone, and I don't usually do this, but she's a 22-year-old.
Yeah.
And I think, she has her whole life ahead of her.
I know. Well, I'll do my little part and channel some energy healing her way tonight.
Thank you. Thank you for being here, Jen. And on that note, once again, thank you so much for carving out the time to hear what was shared on today's podcast. If this inspired you to take the next step in your journey, then I want to invite you to join my email list by emailing vip@saimadillon.com. And of course, if you know this podcast episode will help someone else, then help me change lives. Just take 30 seconds to simply share the link to this podcast in a text or post it on social media. I will be so grateful. Until next time, thank you for being here. And